In a time long forgotten, the world was still young, and the balance between time and nature was delicate. The forest that would later become known as the Forgotten Forest was a vibrant and thriving place, a nexus where time itself flowed differently. The forest was not just a collection of trees, but a living, breathing entity deeply connected to the fabric of time. Sylas was once a mortal man, a scholar fascinated by the mysteries of time. He spent his life studying ancient texts and artifacts, seeking to understand the secrets of time's flow. His obsession led him to the heart of the ancient forest, where he encountered the primordial spirit of time, a being of immense power that guarded the forest's temporal balance. Recognizing Silas's deep understanding and respect for time, the spirit offered him a choice: to become the forest timekeeper, an eternal guardian who would ensure that time flowed correctly within the forest boundaries. Sylas, driven by his thirst for knowledge and a desire to protect the world from temporal chaos, accepted the offer. He was transformed into an immortal being, bound to the forest and the flow of time. As centuries passed, Sylas dutifully fulfilled his role as the timekeeper. He learned to manipulate time within the forest, creating pockets where time moved faster or slower, preserving the balance that kept the world outside safe from the forest's temporal anomalies. However, with this power came isolation. Sylas could no longer leave the forest, and as the world changed and moved on, he remained a constant, unchanging presence within the forest. Sylas's only companions were the spirits of the forest and the occasional travelers who wandered too deep into its mysteries. Over time, he grew weary of his eternal existence. Though he had once been fascinated by time, he now saw it as a burden, a force that brought both creation and destruction, life and death, in an endless cycle. The memories of his mortal life began to fade, leaving him with only the echoes of who he once was. One day, a young girl named Elara enters the forest. Driven by a mysterious connection she feels to the place and a desire to uncover the truth about her missing parents. The forest reacts to her presence, and Sylas, sensing something different about this traveler, decides to watch over her. As Elara journeys deeper into the forest, she encounters various temporal anomalies, moments frozen in time, echoes of past events, and places where time loops endlessly. Sylas subtly guides her through these challenges, testing her resolve and her understanding of time's nature. He is intrigued by her determination and the strange pendant she carries, which seems to resonate with the forest's temporal energy. Eventually, Elara comes face to face with Sylas. At first, she is unsure whether to trust him, as his presence is both intimidating and sorrowful. Sylas reveals his role as the timekeeper and explains the dangers of the forest. He warns her that if she stays too long, she risks losing herself to the forest's temporal traps, just as many before her have. Elara, undeterred, insists on continuing her journey, believing that the answers she seeks lie within the heart of the forest. Sylas, moved by her courage and determination, decides to accompany her. Together, they navigate the forest's deepest secrets, facing challenges that test their understanding of time and memory. As they reach the core of the forest, where time is most volatile, Sylas confronts Elara with a choice. Sylas, a daring explorer with a deep connection to the ancient forest, uncovers an old manuscript hidden in the depths of a forgotten library. The manuscript, fragile with age, holds forgotten legends and prophecies that speak of a catastrophe linked to the heart of the forest. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Sylas embarks on a perilous journey to uncover the truth behind these legends. As Sylas ventures deeper into the forest, he stumbles upon remnants of old civilizations and encounters magical creatures, each encounter adding pieces to the puzzle of the forest's mysteries. Alongside ancient ruins, he decrypts carvings and symbols, learning about a catastrophic prophecy that threatens to disrupt the balance of time itself. The prophecy, foretelling an impending event that could bring about a shift in the temporal balance, becomes more real as Sylas encounters a secretive faction intent on exploiting the forest's power for their own gain. Faced with challenging trials and intricate puzzles that test his knowledge of time, Sylas consults mystical beings with ancient wisdom. He deciphers the ancient language inscribed in hidden chambers, slowly unraveling the nature of the prophecy. As the prophecy's predictions begin to unfold, Sylas uncovers a plot by a powerful entity planning to manipulate time for its own purpose. With steadfast determination, Sylas thwarts the faction's plans, preventing the catastrophic event from coming to pass. He performs a complex ritual to restore balance. Through his journey, Sylas learns that the future is not set in stone, but shaped by present choices. Successfully closing the temporal rift, the balance of time is restored, and Sylas gains profound insights into the forest's ancient magic and its crucial role in the world's history. Sylas returns from his quest not just as an explorer, but as a guardian of time, with a newfound understanding of responsibilities and the profound impact of his actions on the flow of time. In an ancient world where magic and the natural order coexisted harmoniously, the fabric of time was delicate and vital. The balance of time was guarded by powerful entities, but as the world grew, the forces of chaos and order clashed, threatening to unravel the temporal continuum. The forest that would later be known as the Forgotten Forest was a central nexus of this delicate balance. Sylas was born in a quaint, ancient village on the outskirts of this mystical forest. From a young age, he was fascinated by the mysteries of time and the cosmos. His parents, simple farmers, could not comprehend his insatiable curiosity, but they supported his quest for knowledge. Sylas spent years studying ancient texts, scrolls, and artifacts, learning about the nature of time from the scholars of his era. As he grew older, Sylas's research led him to uncover references to the heart of the forest, a place said to be the source of temporal energy. Driven by his quest for understanding, he ventured into the forest, seeking the ancient wisdom and secrets it held. Deep within the heart of the forest, Sylas encountered a primordial spirit, an ancient and powerful being who was the guardian of the forest's temporal energy. The spirit had observed Sylas's journey and was intrigued by his knowledge and dedication. The spirit revealed that the balance of time was at risk due to the growing instability caused by external forces. Realizing that Sylas's deep understanding of time made him a worthy candidate, the spirit offered him a choice: to become the Timekeeper, an immortal guardian who would maintain the balance of time within the forest and the world. Sylas, torn between his mortal life and the opportunity to protect the very essence of time, ultimately accepted the spirit's offer. He was transformed into an eternal being, bound to the forest and entrusted with the role of Timekeeper. As Sylas underwent his transformation, he was imbued with the power to manipulate time within the forest. He gained the ability to create temporal pockets where time could move at different rates, preserve ancient memories, and mend the fabric of time when it was threatened. The transformation granted him eternal life, but also bound him to the forest, isolating him from the world he once knew. The newly appointed Timekeeper spent centuries learning to harness his powers and understanding the complexities of time. He created protective barriers around the forest to shield it from external disturbances and used his abilities to preserve the forest's natural harmony. With the passage of time, Sylas grew increasingly aware of the burden of his immortality. While he preserved the balance of time, he witnessed the world outside changing, civilizations rising and falling, and people forgetting the ancient wisdom he once sought. The forest became a place of legends and forgotten stories, with few remembering its true significance. Sylas's isolation weighed heavily on him. Though he was an eternal guardian, he yearned for connection and understanding of the world beyond the forest's boundaries. He watched over occasional travelers who ventured into the forest, guiding them through its mysteries and offering cryptic advice. As time continued its relentless march, Sylas's role as timekeeper became increasingly crucial. The forest faced threats from external forces, and the delicate balance of time was often tested. Sylas realized that his role was not just to preserve time, but to ensure that its lessons and wisdom were not lost. Sylas began to prepare for the eventuality of passing on his role. He sought out a worthy successor, someone who could understand the complexities of time and the importance of preserving its balance. He knew that his time as the timekeeper would eventually come to an end,